Hi, this is Cousin Russ. I am again practicing my office hours in preparation for Roots Tech 2022, and I should be live now. And there's been a couple settings that I have uh, been playing around with because a couple things aren't working exactly the way I want, which is why I'm practicing. Uh, I am making a comment to share with everybody who may join. Uh, course of yeah, there we go. I'm good. So anyhow, I just put a comment in, and so I'm going to start my office hours. I'm going to watch to see if anybody joins. Just as a reminder, one of the things that I am going to be demonstrating and actually working on my file uh, on this uh, on this recording is that I am preparing. Hi, Mike. Good morning, sir. Appreciate you joining. I just went live and I'm looking for comments, as you may remember from last night. Anyhow, the file I'm working on is in getting preparation for uh, the release of the U.S. 1950 Federal Census. I've got some information in the description of this recording about what we're doing, and this graphic that's on my screen right now is from DearMyrtle, and this is a series. In fact, we're expecting to have a meeting tonight of DearMyrtle's CensusGenie. So let me get rid of that. And what I want to do now is to get into what I am going to demonstrate. And Mike, just so you know that I'm doing a practice run because I want to see if the comments get recorded with the recording. It would be nice if it did that. So I'm going to close down that and bring up Family Tree Maker, which is a genealogy program that I use, that I'm demonstrating, that I am going to be here for Roots Tech 2022. If anybody is over at Roots Tech and wants to ask questions of a person in real time, that's why I'm going to be here. So a couple of things I want to show, clean up on the screen. And thank you, Mike. A couple of things I want to clean up on this screen. Down in the lower right-hand corner, just above where my image is, let me get rid of my image. You will see that there's a couple files that are in this list. Now, going into Roots Tech, I don't want those files to be there, but I want to make sure that I keep the files active on my computer, but I just don't want to see them on this list. So what I'm going to demonstrate here at the beginning is how do I get rid of that. I like this down arrow that says select tree because there's a lot of features, and I've blogged about the features here uh, specifically on my blog. I'm not going to go through them now. I may later on in the week, but I want to get rid of a couple of files that are on that list. So I hovered on the bottom one, and a window opens up, and I'm going to select remove from this list. That's all I'm going to do is get rid of that file from the list, and you see that it is now gone down the left-hand side, and I'm going to get rid of this other one. Now they're still available to me to work on if I want them. I just don't want them on this list anymore. Okay, so what I want to do now, though, is work on my file that I have been demonstrating for the test runs that I've done before. So I'm going to select the first file that I have, and I'm going to open it. And it's opening now. And uh, what I want to do is go to the plan workspace, which is the stuff that I worked on yesterday. This is my to-do list for the 1950 census, some things that I did in the recordings yesterday. And what I'm going to do this because I want to see it. There is my friend Mike, and I see him regularly on Tinkering with Tech. And greetings all. And he says, looks good so far. Well, that's good to know. I will do my best to comment enough to help you do the test. And I really appreciate that, Mike. We'll see if they show up. I did after the show last night. I went back and I verified that all my options were set up, and I changed how I started this recording. So I scheduled it as we talked about last night, and it came up as I expected. That's handy to be able to hide them when you're doing demonstrations. Good feature. Uh, that's why when I looked at the screen last night and this morning getting ready, I said, I want to get rid of them. And you're right. And since you brought that up, Mike, I don't know whether you know Family Tree Maker or not. Something that you have expertise in other areas that I don't. Now, one of the nice things about uh, that feature, there's a change log, and I'm talking about demonstration purposes now. So at Roots Tech, and let me change my background and put myself back on the screen in the lower left-hand corner. You will see that what's behind me is the booth that I would normally be in this weekend uh, in Salt Lake City. That is a booth that I have worked out of for several years. But one of the features about Family Tree Maker 2019 that that goes along with this demonstration that Mike brought up is that there's a change log. Hi, June. Good morning. Good to see you. The change log would let me go back to yesterday morning. If I demonstrate all day, and I have done that, I make changes to this file, but I want the next morning to go back to where I was this morning. The change log feature in Family Tree Maker 2019 lets me go back to that last thing that I did. Now, this file isn't, I haven't done anything today. I did a lot of work yesterday, and I don't want to undo everything that I did yesterday. But that's all the activity, and this log, and it's an active log. I know you're from New Hampshire, June. It's so good to see you. Uh, the change log records 1,000, the last 1,000 things, tasks, activities that I did in my file. So I can select that file, that activity, and I can roll back to that activity so that everything above it on the list would then be undone, and my file would be converted back to this point in time. There's another thing that I do from this change log, which I won't go through right now because I want to finish up some stuff that I did yesterday. But I can print this log, the last 1,000 things that I did, and it's a PDF file, and I would export it as a PDF file. In fact, I'm going to do that because this is what I did yesterday. So I'm exporting to a PDF file. This window pops up, and I'm going to say OK. And I have a specific folder on my computer that I put this change log in, and it is here. And I go down to Oh, I didn't create one here, so uh, I'm going to cancel this because I got need to do one other thing. But I can save that as a PDF file and put it where I want. In fact, I'm going to save it because I can move it later. So I just it gives me the file name that I'm using, and it says change log. But I would have a bunch of change logs. So what I do at the end of the change log file name, I put the date, and today is the 2nd. And I'd use the specific orders: year with 4 characters, the month 2 characters, the day 2 characters, and the time. And I use military time, uh, so it's 9:25 Eastern. So that's when I created that change log. I could look at it from here. I don't want to. And I can then close that. So it's on my hard drive. So that everything that I did yesterday is in that change log that I just recorded. So now let me get to where I want to go to, that I started yesterday. So I am going to the people workspace. Now, what I did yesterday was created a filter for everybody who I can expect to find in the 1950 U.S. Federal Census. And uh, I set up the filter. I'm going to click on filter, uh, but I don't. Yesterday, I created the filter and I named it, and I'm going to retrieve that filter that says 1950 1950 preparation. So the filter that I created yesterday, I just was able to retrieve because I created it yesterday. The parameters for the filter are in the description for this recording. So I now can go back to where I was yesterday by clicking apply. My 209 people are now down to 16. Now you remember yesterday, if you watched the recording, if you didn't have to, you don't have to remember, it's in the recording that I did yesterday. What I want to do though is to look at the matches from Family Search. Now, the blue squares are hints from Family Search. Now, I'm going to click on this first profile, click on the person tab so I can see the details of the person. There's my research log, and I have a task. But what I'm concerned about is this hint. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to change subjects a little bit because this is what I really want to demonstrate. In my to-do list for this person, I had a Family Search match, and I'm going to go to that profile, and there's the task that I had. And if I look over here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a blue box that says one Family Search hint. So I'm going to click on that hint, and it's going to take me to the web search workspace. This pop-up window shows up. I could turn that pop-up off, but I demonstrated a lot, so I'm going to. It doesn't bother me. You can always turn it off. I choose not to turn it off, so I'm going to click OK. This is what did not work yesterday. The lower right-hand panel did not populate. Now, what the lower right-hand panel is showing is the information from Family Search. The information in the lower left hand. I'm sorry, my left and right. It's too early in the morning and I haven't had enough coffee. The lower left-hand corner is the information that is in my database. Information in the lower right-hand corner is what's coming from Family Search, which is up here. Now, I'm not going to bring this data in. The feature in Family TreeMaker 2019 was the ability for me to say the data in Family Search matches the data that I have already. So it's just a hint that Family Search has a profile of one person that's on Family Search that's also in my database. Now, the things I look at, because I have my data here and what's in Family Search up here, I also have this screen that's also available. And I very quickly look at, is this the same person? I also have some more information, the parents, the children of this person that I selected. And if I look at everything that's in front of me, I believe that this profile on Family Search is the same person that is in my database. So the only thing that I'm going to do is click the word match. There's a pop-up window, and I can have it not show up again. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to say that profile on Family Search matches the data in my database. Now I clicked on match, and I'm going to do this again because there's some other stuff I want to show you. So I just told Family Search, or told Family TreeMaker, that I have a match. So I'm going to go back to that person. Now, one of the things that I do is a research log. So I'm going to make an entry that says, what I have just put in the research log is the date and what I did, the activity that I did. In other words, I did a Family Search match. And what was added is the Family Search ID. Nobody else can see it. I can see it looking at my screen. One other thing that I just did was in the task, I had a task to the Family Search Family Tree match did not complete. That's what's yesterday. So I'm going to double click on that task, and I'm going to complete it by putting a check mark in complete. And I put my tasks that I've completed in the low priority. This is all stuff that I've blogged about before in the detail, so I'm going to be very high level. And if you're a Family TreeMaker user, you probably know this stuff already. I'm just putting it there. So I just completed that task. So I have done what I wanted to do, and what I'm going to wait to have happen, and it may or may not, I don't know when it will happen, but if Family Search finds a record for this person, that blue box that is now gone will reappear, but it'll be filled in. So let me change screen so I get out of the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So what I've done is just put the Family Search ID in my database, which is fine. And when Family Search has a record, my hints then will change. And you'll see that the blue box that was there is no longer there. For those of you who don't know, I have color coding turned on for the home person. Now I'm going to go back to the plan workspace, because what I just did for my task list, I'm going to go to the plan workspace. It is no longer in the medium priority, but it is in low priority, and that I have completed it. Any activity that I have to do on an individual profile will be in the medium priority. When I complete it, it goes down to the bottom. I like that. It keeps me on target, and it looks like I only have 8 tasks. I got a whole bunch more than that, but that's what I'm working on today, because I'm working on the 1950 Federal Census. So I'm going to go to the next family search match that I was not able to do yesterday. I selected it, and I selected the person, and I'm going to click on Go To. So I'm now going to go to another profile that's got that family search hint. Oh, there's one hint. So now I'm just going to repeat that process, because I want to clean up my task list or some of the task lists that I created yesterday. So I just clicked on that, and again, let me just go back, show you what's not here. If I go into the profile, you'll not see a family search ID up here yet. That's what I want to demonstrate. You see that the task list is down here, and I can get to the hints in multiple different ways, and I just went to it in a different way. So again, I look at the names that I have in my database, the name that's in family search, and mother and father, I'm good. Marriage, and the children. So there's more children that are listed. So just based on review of my data, the data from family search, in the lower right hand corner, the visual that's here, the relationships that are here, I say that's a match. So I got that match, a match to family search. Now I'm going to return to the profile, and what I want to do is, and I probably didn't copy this. Yes, I did copy. So I just did that's another entry in my research log, and the task, and I can complete low priority completed. And now you see that family search ID has now been populated on this record. And I completed the tasks that I had to do. And let me go back to the plan workspace, because again, what I'm demonstrating is working off of this to-do list on stuff that I can do easily. And I can go to that profile. I look at the match. I get one match. And if I again compare my data against what's on family search, there's more information, but I'm not going to bring that information in from family search. I want to find the records myself. But there is an option to merge the data. I will not do that. What I want to do, though, is do my match. Now, I mentioned yesterday about the family search information. What I like about this feature is that when I enter my data in the database and I get a hint from family search right away, that's good news to me. That means that that most of the data, or some of the data that I have, was good enough to throw me a hint from family search. So let me see if I do my task. I'm talking and trying to do what I wanted to do at the same time. I see I have 3 people watching, and I know Mike is here, and June is here. Well, she'll rewatch it. She may still be here. And this is the comment that I put in uh, for my research log. For those who are watching, if you would, in the comments, just put where you're watching from, I would appreciate it. There's 3 people watching according to what I see in my screen, and if you just make a comment and let me know where you're watching from, I would appreciate it. Okay, let me see what I did. I got rid of it. I've done 3 task to do items. I got 2 more that I'm going to do, and let me just do something different this time. Hi, Ann from Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you. I appreciate you. I don't know whether you're a family tree maker user or not. It doesn't matter. I'm practicing for what I want to do during Roots Tech 2022. If you're not familiar with that, ask, and I can explain that in the recording, but that's okay. I'm going to click on this item that I mentioned yesterday. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully you'll learn some. Oh, from Sweden. Lars, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. And let me make sure I get everybody up on the screen that I want to. And I appreciate that. Appreciate you watching. Somebody else just joined. Awesome. I have this to-do list, something that I noticed yesterday, but I didn't do anything with it. But I want to show you what I saw, but didn't do anything about it. But I might see what Mike says. Mike currently count as 2. You're awesome, Mike. I appreciate that. And I know you're a busy man and got stuff to do, the technical fun stuff that you do. And he's from Ontario, Canada, near Niagara Falls. And we're friends in another community. So let me go back to this death index record. I'm going to go to her profile. And you see, I don't have much information about her. Keep in mind, this is a profile that showed up in my potential capability of finding in the 1950 census based on the parameters for the filter that I set up, which is in the description for this recording. She was born in 1824. Now, but there's no reason why in the filter, no reason why I should have excluded her, mostly because I don't know when she died. And but what I noticed is up in the upper right-hand corner, there are 9 ancestry hints. So I'm clicking on the hints, and I look at there's some records here for her. 1860 census. So she's in the 1860 census. There's some town records, civil records, 1850 census, a Massachusetts census. So there's some census records that I can add to her. But if I look at this hint from Ancestry that she died in 1898. Now I can view that record, and I got to sign in. I thought I'd done that. Sorry about the delay. And it's going to have a two-point authentication, and I'm waiting for my phone to tell me. There we go. I've got a code from Ancestry. Should have logged in earlier, but why not? So it's authenticating me, and here's the record. I'm not going to look at the newspaper. What I want to look to make sure that this is the right person from the transcription that Ancestry has given me. Now, I'm not going to do anything with that record. I'm going to go back to the people workspace, and I did on my to-do list so I wouldn't forget that that hint was there. What I'm doing right now is just showing you that I looked at the hint, and I have in my to-do list that I have her in a death index. So later on, I will bring that record into Family Tree Maker, and I will demonstrate it when I do that. But I'm working, this is the advantage of having a to-do list. I knew I had made a record of when I looked at her profile. I said she was born in 1824, which is why I'm questioning it, and I need to. I will complete that when I have a record, and there's a record here, but I want that in front of me so that I know. In fact, I can actually complete it. Uh, I won't. I'm going to leave it there because I want to build a citation, a little better citation of what's there. So the task list that I have, and I'm rambling all over the place, and I don't try to keep up with me, or you can. If you have questions as you go, I will answer your questions. Uh, but I'm this. This is more of a technical test for me that I can uh, walk and chew gum sort of at the same time. Uh, there's a lot of moving parts of my end that you all don't see, but again, I'm practicing for Roots Tech 2022, which starts on Thursday. So I'm going to go again complete my task. Oh, while I'm here, I just remembered remembered something that I wanted to point out is that let me see, this is what I want to do. If I look right here, I will see that there's an arrow pointing up for Sync Now. What that tells me is that I have made changes in Family Tree Maker on my computer that have not been uploaded to Ancestry. Let me get rid of that because I want to bring it up again over here. So there's two places that I can see that I have worked on my file on my computer that I have not uploaded to Ancestry, and that's fine. I'm good with that. Uh, the there's a I'm technically playing here. Um, the other thing that you see is a green icon, and that green icon says that I can do a sync. And if I look here, it's green. So that I can do a sync now and be comfortable that it will complete correctly. I won't do that right now. I've got a little more work to do. What I want to clean up is this family search did not match option of to-do list. Oh, I forgot something here. Let me get my cursor back, and we'll click on this blue box. And again, the spelling of names is genealogist Lars. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. He's dropping off, and I appreciate you dropping by. So the spelling doesn't count. I'm not going to use their data anyhow. Again, what I'm interested is in that I have a match. Beware that on this end, a StreamYard. Yes, I understand the StreamYard duck logo is covering up the screen. I do understand that, Mike. I have the free version, and I not ready to pay for to get rid of that logo. And I do appreciate the comment. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Again, I'm looking at the data that Family Search has, and there's enough information between what I have, the little that I have, and look at all the information that they have in Family Search. But it's my person. So later on, I will get hints, and I have not gone back to look at any of the hints, Family Search hints, to see if I have any record hints coming from Family Search. So I'm going to say that's a match, and the match is being made in Family Tree Maker. And again, I'm going to do my research log entry that I just did, and the Family Search ID is there. So I also can complete that task, which is my task for the day, so to speak. And whoops, I went on the wrong tab. And oh, look, I've got some more hints I can go after. I'll go into my task lists in the planned workspace and go to that profile. There's still a hint, and I can, again, hopefully we'll complete this. Look at the name. Looks like they have a middle name, but I'm not going to use it. And the racial relationships over here are correct. They don't have to be accurate. I'm looking for the relationships, and I see relationships up here. I see relationships here, and my data on the left, and the data from Family Search is on the right. So I'm going to say that's a match, and I'm going to complete my steps. And I do this every time to be consistent. I want to complete my research, do my research log first, and I didn't have, it wasn't on my task list. That's okay. I had a hint, and I just made the match. So there's the Family Search ID. Just a comment. This is was not my file. I am taking over the file. There's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up in the file, and I will do that in Roots Tech. So there's a lot of things that I will not talk about now. I will clean it up over time. So the Family Search ID is there, and you'll notice that there's no citation. I want citations on everything that you look at. This first column shows the number of citations for each fact. You'll see some zeros. There's a report that I will work off of over time to clean up all of these so they all have a citation. But I need a record to put a citation. But that's a talk for a different day. So I'm going to go back to the plan workspace. The search didn't match or didn't complete because of the problem that a Family Search appeared to have had yesterday. And I have a Family Search hint. And I'm looking at relationships, and it looks like it's a match. And I'm going to go over, and I just did the match. And the Family Search ID is there, and my research log. And yes, it's probably repetitive for you, but I find that if I work on a specific task, that I get into a rhythm of how I do my work. Now let me clear. This is what I wanted to do this morning, is get all the Family Search matches that I saw yesterday and complete them. I go back to the people workspace and the tree view where the hints are. Yesterday, I when I uploaded the file for the first time, I had 200 hints, if I remember correctly, when I started. Uh, but these are the hints for people in Family Tree Maker who I believe I should be able to find in the 1950 census, except that one person that I've already identified. But what I want to do is go into the plan workspace, and I want to go to the online view of what's on my screen, and let me bring it over here. So the database that you're seeing now on the screen is what is on the Ancestry member tree. So the data that's up here is the same data that's on my computer. So I'm going to click on the down arrow and look at all hints. I have now got 728 record hints. So those are record hints that I can now bring into Family Tree Maker. I don't do that from this screen. I do everything from within Family Tree Maker. What I wanted to show you is that for this file of 209 people, I've got 728 hints to go after. So I've got a lot of work to do, which is why I'm doing it. So I did my to-do list that I wanted to do today, but those are all hints. And what I want to do is complete the task of bringing in all the family search hints. So this column will be clear. Some of these I did yesterday, but didn't complete, but I'm just going to review, and there's some new ones that just showed up. So let me see. I have this record hint, and the names are correct, the birth dates are correct, but the spouse, I don't have a spouse yet. So am I going to do a match? I don't know. Let's see. I get a birth date. That birth date is correct. You know, I can work on that hint later. I'm not ready to commit at this point in time. I don't have enough information on my side uh, because in my data I have the parent's name and the father's name and the mother's name, but no spouse information. The name's right, the birth date is right. Where the person lived, I don't know because I don't have it in my database. I'm not willing to make a match at this time, but the match isn't going to go away, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go to the next person, and I'm showing two different places where I can hover over that hint that says one family search hint, that says one family search hint. So I'm going to just click on that blue box and the link there. And now I'm looking at what I've done before. And it looks like the name is correct. I have a middle initial, the birth date. They have the actual date. I have about 1896, which is fine. And relationships. I don't know about that. Mary's right, it looks like, in my database, but Alexander doesn't look right. So I don't have enough information to say that's a match. And the match isn't going to go away. It'll be there, and that's fine. I'm going to click the next one, and I got two family search hints. That bothers me, and let me see if I can see why it bothers me. That this tells me that there are two profiles on family search. Which one is right? or is the one that's, so I will select the right one. Let me look at the names, the birth date, the residence. I don't have a residence, the death date. That looks like the same person on my database. Let me look at relationships. Father is, and family search is Thomas and John, not a match. Catherine, Rosanna, married, not a match. The spouse is correct. Again, there's something wrong here, and I'm not going to show it as a match in my database yet. It looks like there's somebody down here who may be the right person, but I'm not going to make that match yet. I have a choice. Select this one or this one. You notice that when I selected the second match, it gave me different information in the lower right-hand corner, which is what Family Search had. I'm not going to call it a match. I'm going to go back and look at this last one. And I've got one match. Catherine, birth is close enough. Let's look at the parents, John and Mary. You know what? I'm going to make this a match. All I'm doing is telling Family Tree Maker there's a match on Family Search. And I'm going to do my research log. And I'm going to, there was no task. I didn't have to do a task, so I don't have to complete it. So I'm going to go back to the planned workspace because, and what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to leave this the way it is. Just to close the loop, here's the research, the task list, the changes that I made, the change log that I did, that I've just done. It has the timestamp on the right hand side. And if there's something that I did that I didn't want to do, I can roll it back using a change log. And at the end of the day, or the beginning of tomorrow, I will save the change log as I did today. There's one other thing that I want to do because I'm going to be closing this out, and there's still 3 people watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you haven't, let me know where you're watching from, please do. If you have any questions as I go along, please use the chat and I will answer that as I'm able to. And I see something else inside my screen that I want to move away a little bit. So now what I want to do is since I have a green status for the sync weather report, since it's green, I'm going to do my next task, and that is update the database on Ancestry with the data that I've just added to Family Tree Maker. To do that, I go to Tools, Compact File, and I want to back up the file and perform some analysis, the compacting. This is a utility that's built into Family Tree Maker to help us maintain a good, clean database. So I'm going to click Compact. The first thing it does is ask me to back up the file. So before Family Tree Maker does any cleanup, it's going to make a backup of the file. I have a specific directory in Family Tree Maker called backups, and I put them all there, and I add the timestamp in military time, the timestamp that I'm doing this backup. So it's backing up the file. It has completed that process. Now what it's doing is going to do some analysis and compacting of the file, some database cleanup that is normally done. Now, the best practice is to get this number. Let me get my handy dandy pointer. That number down to 0. It's not 0 yet. I'm going to click OK. That arrow is going to stay there for a minute on purpose, because what I'm going to do is compact it again, but I don't need to back it up this time. I've done a backup, but I want to get that down to 0. So I hit compact, and that's all I'm doing. It just went through the same routine of cleaning up the database, and it is now 0%. So I'm down to where the database is at 0% in the compacting file, the cleanup. So I am good to go to sync, and I go to the plan workspace. I can also sync from up here. I always do it from this workspace. So I'm going to click sync now, and it's connecting Family Tree Maker on my computer to Ancestry. The sync weather report says we're green, so I can continue with the sync. And so it is doing some analyzation. Now there's, I have a program that'll let me do a screen capture, because I want to capture that screen. And it says I changed 7 people, changed 7 media files. I don't know that I changed it, but that's okay. But let me see. Those are the changes that were made, all in Family Tree Maker. Now I want to get details on that. There is a PDF file, and I can see the changes that were made, and I'm not sure what they were, but these are the changes that I just made during this recording. So I'm going to export this file as a PDF file, and I'm going to change that PDF file, and I'm going to call, here's my file name. I learn how to spell. And at the end, this is a family sync change log, which is different than the one I did earlier. 002 0302, if I learn how to spell. And it's 10:07. And I'm going to hold on to that, capture that file name, and let me put it where it belongs. And sync log. There we go. There's the sync log for this file. There's the file name, and I'm going to save it. I don't need to open it. I just want to have it available to me, and I'm going to close that, and I'm going to let the sync continue. So now what is happening is the data that I did in Family Tree Maker, all the changes are now being put on Ancestry, and it just completed. Now, what I didn't show you is that screen capture is in the program that I save it, and I want to save it in the same folder where that other change log was. And sync log. And I pasted that file name with, although one was a PDF file, the other was JPEG, but it's now in on my computer where I can access it if I need it. You will notice I hope that there's a check mark. There's a check mark. That means that the data that's on my computer is exactly the same as on the Ancestry member tree. Now, the only thing that I did was to, let me go back to, get my cursor back, go to the people workspace, and the only thing I added for Catherine was the family search ID. I'm going to go to the plan workspace, and I'm going to the Ancestry member tree, and let me bring it over so you can see it. And I have forgotten who that was, who I looked at. Just let me minimize that a second. People workspace, and that was Catherine. And let me bring up, I'm going to search for Catherine. And Catherine L. There. So this is the person that's in Family Tree Maker. I'm going to bring up her profile in Ancestry member tree. So that's the information that I have, and there is that family search ID that's in the Ancestry member tree. So the data that I have in Family Tree Maker is also on Ancestry on the Ancestry member tree. Now, if I did not want to have the family search ID fact on Ancestry, I can mark it as private. And there's a check by a lock here. What that lock says that it is will not show up on Ancestry. I'm not going to mark it as private, so it's okay to see the family search ID on the profile on Ancestry. So I've completed the task for now, and I have enough, and there's 4 people watching. If you haven't, let me know where you're watching from. Please add it to the comment if you have any questions that you might have about what I've been rambling on about for the past however long I've been running, 58 minutes. Again, this is a test for me to see how this works. I'm in practicing for Roots Tech, which is a genealogy conference that is handled virtually this year. Hi, Doctor. How are you doing from Scotland? Appreciate you dropping by. I am again practicing. Made a couple changes on how this thing works for me last night, and I want to end this broadcast so I can see if one specific part of my change, uh, if it in fact worked. I hope it did, and thank you, Mike. I appreciate the comment, and let me just bring in uh, Dr. Stewart's comment and Mike's comment, and I want to make sure that these comments show up in the recording, which is you still are a doctor to me, sir, and I appreciate you joining. We got 2 Tinkering with Tech members on watching what we're doing, and that's one of the things that we do is we help each other out as we try to keep up with this technology. And the technology has let me do a virtual booth, which is, let me put it back on the screen. The booth that's behind me is from Salt Lake City, a booth that I have worked in for the past several years, when we were in person in Salt Lake City. Normally, I would be out there now for the conference, which will start tomorrow. I plan on doing these office hours. I plan on doing them um, at while Roots Tech is going on, and if there's a family tree maker virtual booth going, that they can send people over here, so I can actually talk one-on-one, person to person, because I have the capability of bringing other people up on the panel with me. Again, I appreciate all of your time to watch this test broadcast. I am practicing for myself to make sure that I know what I'm doing, and I have the tools at my fingertips of what I need. And I see somebody else just join the panel. If you just or join the recording, uh, that's okay. PhDs are title, you worked for it. So uh, I, I understand what you're saying. So anyhow, appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day. I'll be probably going live for real tomorrow. I but the time, if you've subscribed to the channel, you will get notifications that I'm going live. I know that's how Mike saw me come in, that I went live and he joined, and I appreciate that. And I will probably chat with you uh, later on, either tonight or later on. I appreciate your comments. So thank you very much for stopping by, and have a great day.